In this video, I want to share a 1 to 4 risk reward short setup on Ethereum that played out textbook perfectly. This setup, by the way, I call it a range setup. This is literally one of the easiest and most profitable trade setups that you can find in crypto, in my opinion. And if you trade nothing else except for these type of setups, you will do pretty well, assuming you follow the right risk reward management. This is really just all that you need to do. So if you're looking for one setup that you can trade over and over, no matter the time frame, that has a high probability, that has a good risk reward, usually 1 to 3 or better, this is absolutely it. So you can see the setup over here, 1 to 4 risk reward, the entry over here, the target, the end of the green, and the stop loss, the end of the red. Now, I do want to point this out. This is not some hindsight analysis. I actually shared this in real time in my VIP Discord. The reason why I'm stating that explicitly is because it's so easy for people to come back and look for theoretical trade setups that played out when you have the data, when you can just look in hindsight and be like, oh, this is what you should have done. And it takes no skill and it shows no actual skill to be able to present that. And you know, so many of these gurus are basically doing this to make them look very smart, but it's a completely different story to call it ahead in real time and have the proof of that to show that it actually works, and then I can break it down for you in real time. So just heading over here into my Discord, I can show you here on January 12th, this was that exact setup that I'm about to break down for you. I said ETH short, I'm giving this a try. We're risking 1%. It's a 1 to 4 risk reward range setup. Okay, so that was that exact setup that you're about to see, and I actually broke it down in real time as it was playing along. So you can see over here when I'm scrolling down, this was already after the entry, it started moving forward. We got market structure break, then we continued dropping over here. I continued updating here with the liquidation map, basically giving confluence to the setup, and you can see as it continued playing out over here, I just kept updating it, updating. And there we go, we hit that perfect setup. We got the retest, everything was absolutely perfect. So here's the proof, it was in my VIP. If you want to join VIP, click the link in the description down below. That's where not only will you get access to my Discord and these real-time trade setups, access to me, access to the community of 2,200 and more traders and investors, and than that, actually more than 2,200. It's in Discord, and I have a full 50 lesson course about trading, about these setups, about how to read price action, and all of that is available inside VIP. The link is in the description down below. Come and join. If you do anything with trading or investing, this will be a huge mind blower, and I'm giving you a 60-day unconditional money back guarantee. So come and sign up, get access to everything. If you're not happy, you can get your money back within 60 days. Okay, so very simple. This is the setup as it has played out. So what it is it's the range setup. We define that by, in a bullish trend, we take the wick high to the reaction low over here, and we define that as our range. So we just take a parallel channel tool, 50% is the mid-range. And what you see here, this is also a very good sign that usually a range is likely to be valid, is when the mid-range acts as support and resistance for the price action along the way. Now, when we have this range set up, the rule is simply, after defining it, we don't trade within the range. We wait for either a sweep of the high, as you can see over here, or a sweep of the low, then a move back into the range for trigger entry condition with a stop at the extreme of the sweep, targeting the opposite side. So we don't know which side it's going to go to. Maybe it could go low first, and then we target continuation to the upside. Then it would have been a long. But in this specific case, we got a sweep of the high first, so that gave us our short trade. It's very simple rules, very simple criteria, and you can very easily work with these ranges because you just set alerts near the range extremes. You don't trade or take any positions within this range because it's likely to just be chop. So as you can see over here, we got the sweep above and we drop back in, and at this point over here, this gives us our criteria because we swept the high, we drop back in. So it's not 100% guarantee. That's why we always manage risk. You can never go all in on a single trade. But if you're risking 1% to make 3% or 4%, then it's a very good risk reward, and you can take the setup every single time because in general it's high probability and it will work out usually more than 50% of the time in my experience. So if you're right, even 50% of the time with a 1 to 4 risk reward, you are massively profitable if you only take these setups over and over. So at this point, we take the entry, we put the stop at the high, because if this setup is correct, it will not go back above this high, and the target is the range low, and that is exactly how it played out. And one thing to get a little bit more technical here also within this setup is that we often do get a retest here of that range high. So what we get is we get a market structure break. You can see we make a new low. So bullish trends basically mean higher high and higher lows. We break that. Okay, we get a lower low here. So this is a market structure break. After the lower low, we tend to get this bounce back up initially. So when a lot of people make the mistake here of trying to short it on high leverage, and then it bounces up first, it liquidates them, and then it continues lower. Okay, so in market structure break, we get the retest, and that actually coincides here. If you put a fib retracement on here, you can see perfectly that range high into the fib golden pocket, massive confluence, and you could even have a second position here if you wanted to take that all the way down. So what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to hit that replay mode and let this play out for you so that you can see me do this in real time. I've already broken it down for you, of course, and you can see that in hindsight, but maybe seeing it in replay for me, always I like to do that. It just gives a bit of a better understanding as you're seeing the price develop, because it's just more like what would happen in real-time price action, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You're seeing the price unfold, and based on that, based on the things you're seeing, it just gives a bit of a better understanding. So let me run you through this replay mode. Okay, so at this point, I would start to consider, okay, maybe this is a range. Okay, so what we do is we set the parallel channel, we take the high over here to the reaction low over here, and we're not taking any trades at this point. This is purely just an idea. Okay, so we're seeing price action develop. We don't really know what's happening, but we are looking at the possibility of this being a range simply due to it having moved up so much and it got a big drop here, and then this could potentially end up being a range with the high to the low. So in this case, if this is the range as we defined, what we want to see is we want to see some reactions around about the middle to see, it gives us some confirmation that this range is likely to be right. And we are not taking any positions here unless we get a sweep like that, or a sweep of the low. And at this point, we don't know. Is it going to sweep the low and then continue going higher? Or is it going to sweep the high and then continue going lower? Okay, we don't know that. I don't know that. There's basically an argument for both cases, and we want to stay flexible. We don't want to have some sort of bias that's going to force us to either take a long or a short. We just, like Bruce Lee, we're like water. We stay flexible to whatever the charts give us, okay? So we have no long or short bias. We have a range, and we wait for the rules of the range to play out. So let's continue. And at this point, this is kind of nice. We already got the first rejection here from the mid-range. So that kind of gives a little bit of a confidence boost that this range may actually be a valid range. And now all we need to do is just be patient and wait for the setup to play out, meaning we need a sweep of either side back into the range for the entry condition with a stop at the low targeting the opposite side. So just to give you an update as this is developing, you can see how much chop there is. It's still within the range. We're not forcing any positions here because we don't know which way it's going to go. And this is where people make a lot of mistakes. They try to take longs and shorts betting on the direction rather than waiting for the extremes of the range. So if you're constantly trying, you can see it's constantly just taking out the highs and the lows all the time. People are betting with high leverage and getting chopped up. It's not what you want to be doing. Just patiently wait until we get the sweep. Okay, so at this point we have touched the range high, but I wouldn't consider this a sweep just yet, so we're patiently still waiting. It is still within the range. Okay, so here we got our sweep perfectly like that, and it dropped back into the range. And obviously I'm playing this in replay mode, so I was a bit slow to click the button. I'd be watching this in a 1 minute chart. When it drops back in, we can get a short position right over here, something like that, with a stop at the highs. And our target is the low over there. Okay, so you would have been watching this on a 1 minute chart, but what we're also looking for here is a nice market structure break. Also, that was just a wick. I wouldn't really consider it. So ideally what we could see also is after the market structure break, a move back to the high and then a continuation down. So could have taken the short here on the drop back in if you were watching it and you could get it close enough. Or otherwise, we can do something like this, where we're looking for a retest after market structure break. That is also perfectly a way to get in. So you can see something like this, where it probably drops to like that. There's confluence here with the fib golden pocket and the range high retest, and then it drops. So let's see how this plays out. And that's a nice thing here. So there's basically two ways to take the position when it comes to these range setups. Number one is you can try and get back in right as it drops after the sweep. And if you miss that one and it already goes in, wait for the market structure break and a retest. There is pros and cons to both sides. If you get in on the drop back, it might be the case that you are a little bit early and then it bounces and continues going higher, you get stopped out. The other side is if you wait for the market structure break and retest, that gives you a higher probability that the chart works, that the setup works, but you don't always get that retest perfectly like that. Sometimes it just goes straight down. So pros and cons, which one ultimately is better? I'm not 100% sure. I do like, personally, I prefer to just get it as soon as possible on the first drop and then potentially enter a second position on that retest if we get it, because that basically gives you more validation. But let's see how this plays out. So there you go. I put this a little bit too, but if I moved it over here, you can see it would have gotten hit perfectly. And you can see how it followed that. It perfectly went there, back up, and then a massive drop. And you can see just a little wick. That's all it takes. A wick below the technical target is complete. It took out this low. And that is a 1 to 4 risk reward setup complete. This played out textbook perfect, really. It doesn't really get more clean than this, even with the retest, exact retest of the range high and then a drop. And this is why I say you want to be able to get out also here, because often it's just a little wick like that below, and that's maybe all you get. But that is the technical target complete. That's 4% that you would have gained on your account for a 1% risk. And this is just a fantastic setup that works over and over again. This is a 5-minute chart. It works on hourly chart. It works on daily. Right, obviously those time frames take much longer to play out versus a 5-minute versus a daily, but it works on Ethereum, it works on Bitcoin, it works on most of the altcoins. And if you only trade this one setup and you just wait for these criteria like this, you get a couple trades a month, you're making insane percentage gains, right? If you get 3 times 4R, that's a 12R, a 12% from 3 trades. If you can get that 3 trades a month, absolutely insane. And sure, you might lose. Let's say you lose 2 or 3 of the range setups, you know, that would still give you a 9 or a 10R, 10% gain a month. If you can do that with enough size, it is absolutely insane. The main reason where people lose their money when it comes to trading is simply by over trading or by not trading optimal setups or by messing around in the middle of these ranges. It's not what you want to do. Just I know it's boring. It's super boring. You just have to sit and wait and be patient. Wait for the setup to play out, enter it. That's it. That's all you got to do. And after the setup plays out, you might not get another one for a week or maybe for 2 weeks. But again, if you only need 2 or 3 setups a month consistently where you're winning them like this to be profitable, that's all you need to do. And you need to just figure out a way how you can manage your emotions, the discipline to not take any trades for the sake of trading, no trading addiction, just purely only the right setup, the range setup. That is it. Even if it's 1 trade a month or 2 trades a month, if you're making, you know, 4 or 8 or 12R a month, it's absolutely insane already if you can do that consistently. Avoid the urge to take any sort of trades that are not within these ranges, within these optimal setups, and you can do very, very, very well. If you want to learn more from me, all of this I cover in my VIP. The link is in the description down below. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee. I give you my course. It's more than 50 lessons explaining all these concepts and breaking it down. You get access to my Discord and more than 2,200 members, including myself personally, my daily trade updates, market insights, real-time trade setups on crypto and Forex, just like this. Come and join. I guarantee you it is worth it. And if you don't like what you see, you have 60 days to request your money back. Join us below, link in the description. Come and see for yourself. This will blow your mind if you do anything with trading and investing. It is just that good. I can confidently say that. I've been doing this for more than a decade, and I want to share with you what I've learned. So come and join inside VIP, and I will see you on the inside.